Ever since I was younger, I was into video games.
Somebody like the fuse so I can bring bad news to all these crews who can't NBA jam with the shoe.
Hey everybody, welcome back to a quick beer review. Going back up north to Russian River. Finally found a fresh bottle of this. I've been looking for it recently and just haven't seen it fresh. This is Row 2, Hill 56. This is a 100% Simcoe hopped pale ale, I do believe. Is it pale ale or is it, yeah, pale ale. Russian River, Santa Rosa, Windsor. I got to go up to their Windsor. I went to both of the locations a couple years ago. The new Windsor location is unreal. So this is, per the label, 5.4% alcohol by volume, hashtag Team Low ABV. That's what we do around here. And it was bottled on January 10th. So time of recording, about 3 weeks in the bottle. I've been looking for this beer recently because Joe over at, oh my gosh, the Beer Patrol. Whenever I say Joe, I think of my name. So I was like, oh, Beer Patrol recently reviewed Pliny for President. And I'm almost positive I'm remembering this correctly. At the end, he was like, this beer's good, but just give me Row 2 Hill 56 all day, I think. So I was like, oh, I need to revisit that beer. I've had this beer before a bunch. I've never reviewed it on camera, but here we go. Into the Russian River vessel, because you guys know beer tastes better in proper glassware. Gosh, look how clear and amazing that looks. We've been drinking a lot of hazy beer lately. Did a week's worth of Treehouse, did another Treehouse beer, drank a Fiden's hazy. We did have a bottle of Pliny, which was fun, but it's been a ton of hazy beer. So back to the the clear stuff. People were like, how come you don't drink hazy beer anymore, bro? I just gave you guys like 7 videos worth of hazy beers recently, so just let's relax. This beer is crystal clear. It is a straw, like kind of pale yellow color. Tons and tons of carb in the glass. I love it. All kinds of bubbles. Finger of fluffy bright white head. Yeah, it looks awesome. I don't know what is the name of this glassware that has the little, it's got the little, it like kind of goes out and then goes back up. I love these glasses. I always have. What is on this thing? I swear I've cleaned this like 10 times this week. Let's go ahead and shove our fat nose in this one. Simcoe, one of my favorite hops. Wildly underrated. I feel like it gets hate that is not deserved, but Simcoe's kind of love it or hate it hop. Smells good. I mean, it's 5.4%, so it's not like crazy explosive, but it's very grapefruit, zesty, resinous, piney. Good amount of sweetness. There's a good amount of dankness, though. I did a podcast, I did a podcast with Chad's Beer Reviews recently. But we also reviewed Stone Arrogant Bastard. And we were talking, I think it was in that video, either that or the podcast, we were talking about, he was talking about burnt rubber. And I had mentioned that I'm glad that he had said something like that. Because there's times where I smell beers and they smell like when you drive by a construction site when people are pouring asphalt. This kind of has that in it. And I don't know if it's just like a hop thing. I don't think it's an off flavor. But yeah, this is bright, zesty, lemony, grapefruity, piney. A little bit of floral. It doesn't have that like classic Simcoe cat pee thing. It smells awesome. Cheers. That beer is so light, so crisp, so clean, so refreshing. I could chug it. Should we chug it? No. Gosh, that's just, it's so drinkable. I mean, it's 5%. Like this is, it's great. A little bit of that pithy grapefruit, piney, floral. I think it smells a bit more dank than it tastes on your palate, but I think that's just an ABV thing. Like you can't really get like a crazy dankness out of a 5% beer. I don't think. I could be wrong. I have no idea. A little bit of dankness, finishes with a little bit of sweetness. It's crackery. I mean, listen, I've been talking a lot with friends like what your desert island beer would be. And more, like I go back to that conversation. I've been saying Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. This would be in the conversation, I think. Something that I could drink year round no matter what the weather is. Something that I'm not going to get tired of. Something like this is awesome. It would be fun. Would it be fun to do like a battle beers with this and Sierra Nevada Pale Ale? Since this is single hopped, I guess it would be way different, but I just love the drinkability of this. The flavor is so good. It's just like, it's so bright. Clean, crisp, hoppy. Awesome, awesome stuff. So This is one of those beers, if you are into pale ales, if you're into West Coast beers, if you're into low ABV beers, it behooves you to seek this out. I think Russian River was canning 12-ounce cans of this. I might be confusing this with STS Pills, which is also worth your time. But yeah, this is something that if you're, into this style of beer, I mean, Russian River brews so much, and there's so much available now. Another thing we talked about, how like my local grocery store has Pliny and Blind Pig all the time, and I found this at that same store, so it's available here in Southern California. So if you find someone in Northern California near the brewery, you'd be able to get your hands on this, no problem. It's worth checking out for sure. So that is Row 2 Hill 56 from Russian River. Hope you guys have had this one. If not, please seek it out. It's worth your time. If you have had it, leave a comment. Let's talk about it. Joe, hopefully you see this video. This beer is awesome. I don't know if I would take this over Pliny for President, just because at 7%, that beer might be a little bit more intense as far as flavor goes, but something, I mean, that's an every 4-year release. Like, this is something that's available all the time, so I totally see where you're going. This beer's fire. So that's it. Appreciate you guys watching. See you soon. Cheers.
Thank you for coming behind the bar, in the arcade, all that shit.
Ever since I was younger, I was into video games.
Somebody like the fuse so I can bring bad news to all these crews who can't NBA jam with the shoe.